Gilbert, Combat Compas is back after a successful WrestleMania 39. So much to see, so much to do. If you guys haven't checked that out, go back and check out what we did at WrestleMania. Some great interviews with a lot of great wrestlers. But Gilbert, this week, I know you're excited. You love this. You love when the red gloves come on. You love when they mix it up in the ring. This weekend, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, they didn't wait like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao did. They're doing this in there before they maybe even start their primes, or they're in their primes. It depends on who you ask, but they're doing this now, Gilbert. How excited are you for this weekend?
I'm very excited, Fernando, and I like how you just get straight to a good point there. This is the fight that didn't take too long to marinate. Maybe a little early, and you're taking off the grill a little too early, but we like the kind of little pink on the steak there, right? It's good, a little medium rare there. Not a problem at all. We don't have to be well done like Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Fernando. So that's what's the intriguing part. These guys are like yeah, I know, just super
Charcoal.
cooked. But these guys are in like their mid-20s, maybe early 20s. Like for sure, Tank is in his prime. I don't know about Ryan Garcia. Like he might be a little too early for this, but it's better than being late, right? And he's still young, and he has that nasty hook. And you know what? These guys are good at promoting the fight, but I think they actually like each other. Like I know Tank was giving credit to Ryan Garcia for saying, "Hey, you got a nasty hook. You can't speak Spanish, or how are you a Mexican and not speak Spanish?" I thought that was a nice little jab there. But they know how to promote a fight. Great social media followings. Like Tank Davis has a bunch of rappers and celebrities coming in his fight. Ryan Garcia has every type of YouTuber you can imagine. Maybe he can invite us. We're kind of friends, no, right?
There you go. Yeah,
exactly. We'll see. But in terms of skill in their prime, ready to go, that's the intriguing part. It's been a long time since this happened, Fernando, and it's in Las Vegas. And I can't remember the last time there was a fight this big of this magnitude that didn't involve Canelo or even like a Mayweather, or when Mayweather fought Conor McGregor or a Pacquiao. Yeah, you have a couple of stars and a good bunch of good fights. Like
maybe Wilder Fury.
That's definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Like that's probably the last time. So good memory there, Fernando. So since Wilder Fury, those three amazing fights, it hasn't been a big fight like that.
Gilbert, you know what, and that's why I said I didn't know if I can call them that they're in their prime because they're so young. But man, we could easily. I mean, and who knows? Maybe if these two are the next like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, maybe we see a lot of these different. Maybe even more because they're so young and they could take this a long way. Obviously, if they keep their personal lives in check and they're able to do this for a long time, we could see a lot of these fights, especially if there's kind of nobody around and it's just Ryan and Tank. But you know what, Gilbert? I don't know if this is fair for me to say or not, but I think this is a pretty big fight. I mean, it's for both of them, but for Ryan Garcia, maybe a little bit of a bigger fight just because I don't know yet if he has the backing of Mexico behind him yet. And I feel, and with Canelo kind of on the way, I'm not saying out, but Canelo kind of has rubbed people the wrong way lately. It hasn't. Some people are starting to like Mexico's looking for their next big fighter that they could be like, you know what, we're behind him. Ryan Garcia has a chance, I think, this week, or maybe I'm overstepping. I think Ryan has a big opportunity this week to maybe gain more fans in Mexico, more love from Mexico if he ends up pulling off this victory.
Well, it's tough for now. Like I think Oscar De La Hoya went through this. Like when you were actually born in the United States and you are Mexican blood, and people don't really treat you that way from Mexico. But at least it's weird. But Oscar, was first generation, and Ryan Garcia is kind of a couple of generations removed. Yeah. He's like your typical no sabo kid, but he's still Latino. He's still one of us at the end of the day.
Hire us. We'll teach you Spanish.
Yeah, you help me out too, bro. Because I forget every now and then. I'm the higher version of the no sabo kid. That used to be called the pocho, but I don't know. Should I say that? Is that a word? I forget.
No, it is. But I mean, but you understand it. You speak it, and I mean, you could have a full conversation.
Ryan
he might not be in that same plate, but like I said, if his PR team wants to hire us and he wants to go to Mexico, we got you, bro. Nosotros enseñamos lo que quieras, te enseñamos cómo decir qué, y te ayudamos a poder ir a Mexico.
But the thing with Ryan Garcia, like Latinos are, I think that's the better word, Latinos, and I think they're all gonna appreciate him and get behind them, and not even just Latinos, like people love this guy. Like he has like the last time I checked was like 5 million followers on IG, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. So like
I liked him when we had him on the show.
He's awesome. He's good for the people. Like also a personal guy, good looking dude. He just knows where the camera's at. He knows how to sell a fight. Tank Davis is not as talkative, but they're behind them, man. I know people like to make kind of like the race kind of fight there because it's boxing, the black community and the Latino community. I don't really get that sense here. In some fights they really do that, but it just feels like two of the most popular fighters going at it. And let's see what happens. And Fernando, to your point here, Ryan Garcia is a little younger, and it's a lot maybe more pressure on him. I could maybe say the other way around because Tank is a favorite, and you lose to a guy who wasn't ready. That could look bad. But I'll say this from the Ryan Garcia point of view. You got me thinking with maybe a possible trilogy or whatever series it could become. If he loses, but he puts up a fight, maybe he stuns Tank Davis. Maybe he even drops him with the hook shots because he doesn't have more in his arsenal besides a hook there. Tank Davis does, but he did impress me in the last couple of fights. Ryan Garcia, that the footwork was there. He learned from Eddie Reynoso with the counters. That was pretty nice for his arsenal, not just kind of trying to go for the home run shot. He was moving a little bit more. So if I see that to the end and he puts up a good fight, like mad respect, Ryan Garcia, let's watch it again. And one thing, Fernando, maybe you could segue off of this, like, I think we're starting to get rid of the Mayweather era where you're like, if you say your old gotta go and you lose it, you're done. People don't talk about you. But like when we saw the trilogy with Canelo Triple G, that was awesome. Canelo's always going to be remembered because he had a nice series there. Or look at UFC. You and Emmanuel Morgan talked about it in the last episode of Compas, Adesanya and Pereira. Like that's going to be a series you're going to remember. Those two guys are going to be connected forever in combat sports. You need a dance partner. If Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis become that and deliver with a classic fight, I don't care who wins.
No, and I completely agree with you. The thing is, though, I think Tank Davis also has some pressure on him because he's kind of been that next echelon to Floyd Mayweather. He was with Mayweather promotions, and obviously he kind of separated himself from it. But I agree with you. These guys wouldn't jump on Instagram Live together if they didn't like each other. They like each other, but it's kind of like, it's that like they like you and Dan and Dago. You guys like picking at you guys love each other. You guys are awesome, but you guys love picking at each other. And I kind of feel like that's what Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis like do. They love picking at each other and they love seeing how they can push each other's buttons. But I think they secretly do like each other, and they're like, oh, you know what, like we're cool and everything, and no matter what happens on Sunday, like after whoever grabs the microphone, first thing I think either one of them is gonna say is, oh, that was a great fight and everything, mad respect to him. And the loser is gonna say, well, we need to run it back because I should have beat him. If it's not a knockout, if it's a decision, no, regardless of who wins after the fight, and I hope the judges don't pull any Canelo Triple G 1 where they go, oh, it's a split decision. Well, no, it's a split. Like they tied.
Yeah.
No ties. Like, come on, like be legit when it comes to this. And you already have people suckered in because even some people complain that Canelo and Triple G waited too long also. And here you're getting these guys right in the prime of things. So you're going to have more trilogy. You're going to be able to pull out a trilogy out of this and make a lot of money. The only thing is play it smart. Don't do anything dumb. And make sure that you play this out right.
You know what would be a good thing, Fernando, for boxing overall? And people like to, when there's like a big fight, they talk about like, oh, the sport needs it, or the sport's gonna die, or this is the biggest fight that the sport needs to kind of rebound. If these two guys deliver on a great epic fight, and again, I don't really care who wins, as long as it's a good fight. And again, props to these guys, 28, 24 and age, getting in the ring and just making it happen. I know there's a lot of kind of back and forth there, but if you're Terrence Crawford and you're Errol Spence Jr. at whatever party you're at, and you're watching these guys slug it out, mega fight in Las Vegas, and you're sitting there like, man, that could have been me and Terrence Crawford, or me and Errol Spence. We could have been the guys, because that was supposed to be the fight. Because those guys are already in their 30s, Fernando. These guys are younger. So hopefully they see that, and you know what? There's still time. If we're not in that Pacquiao burnt phase, so they could do it. So hopefully they see that, they miss that, they have that itch, like, oh, these two guys going at it, and Crawford and Spence are texting each other. Like, you know what? Who cares, man? Obviously, money matters, but let's make it happen.
I hope these two young guys get everybody else to do it.
Yeah.
Stop BSing and make those big fights. Look at these guys, 28 and 24. For you folks out there, Gervonta Davis is 28, Ryan Garcia is 24. We're telling you the tell of the tape.
Like 1 year per fight.
Gervonta's exactly. Gervonta's fought 28 times, 0 losses, 26 knockouts. That guy is vicious.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia, 23 fights, 23 wins, 19 knockouts. That's pretty close to, that's only 4 where he hasn't knocked out the other guy. Ryan does have the height advantage. He's 5'10",
Yeah, he's
while
bigger.
Gervonta is 5'5", so that's going to be interesting. They both weigh about the same. So Gilbert, it's literally any man's game. I mean, both of these guys are similar. They're both very talented, but man, it's exciting to be able to be at this point and know that this fight, because you remember, you and I had been talking about this fight for a while. You didn't know if it was going to be made. We asked Ryan Garcia. Ryan's like, hey, after this fight, I can't remember who he fought. He's like, I want to go with Gervonta. That's my next fight. They talked about it. They signed the paperwork, but you know how sometimes this happens. Oh, there's an injury. Oh, this happened. Oh, somebody backed out. These guys, I mean, we're 2 days away. These guys, neither one of them has backed out. They're going full gear, full blast at this. And I'm excited about this fight.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia was supposed to have a tune-up before the Tank fight, and Tank had a tune-up himself, and so Ryan Garcia hasn't fought in a minute, and but he wanted to say, you know what, I don't want to risk getting hurt or whatever, losing maybe. I don't think that was in his mind that would jeopardize this fight, so they made it happen. And the one thing I'm very intrigued about Fernando in terms of like style, like with the Tank Davis fight, like that fight with Pitbull Cruz. He was a little, not, I want to say exposed, but he had trouble with Pitbull there, and that was a rugged Mexican coming at him, and like he said, he had like a like a concrete for a head, and he wouldn't go down, and that's just kind of that proud Mexican thing where like he's gonna come at you and throw the whole kitchen sink at you, but not much power, not much skill, and that's different from Ryan Garcia. So maybe that plays into Tang's kind of hands, like, hey, this guy's not putting pressure on me. He's letting me breathe because he's trying to get space and then do the home run shot. So that's why I worry about Ryan Garcia, but his power is much higher than Pitbull Cruz. So that's the bigger thing. By the way, I still have that song in my head. Who let the dogs out? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I was like,
what's funny about this fight too is that these guys, Gilbert, they're only 28 and 24, but they talk a huge game, and I like that both of them can talk, because sometimes you kind of get like bored of some fights because you're like, oh, okay, like some guys can't talk. These two guys are great at it, and both of them really get you hyped up. Like in one of those, I remember Tank Davis goes, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do it. And the manager goes, dude, shut the hell up. And then he's like, keep on going. You're telling me exactly. Your manager even told you to shut up. Like, you're giving me everything I need to work on from now to that fight. So, and I think Ryan's going to show a little bit more this time. I don't think it's just going to be that hook. I think there's going to be some other stuff that Ryan's going to throw out there. He's going to develop. I mean, Ryan, honestly, he's not with, Canelo's trainer anymore, but I bet you he learned some stuff there. He told us, yeah, I've learned some stuff from the 3 trainers that I've had so far. I've learned so much from them, and I've taken a little bit out of everybody and used it. Same way Andy Ruiz told us that for his fight, he had used a little bit of what he had learned from Canelo's trainer, from his previous trainer, and now obviously the trainer that he's with now. So I think Ryan's going to come out with something new, and I think he really is going to he's going to take it to Tank, and I really do think this is going to be a fight. I hope it lives up to the billing. I remember, and I didn't do this, but I remember a buddy of mine paid $100 for that Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight, and everybody was so disappointed of how bad that fight was that they started booing at the stadium that they were at. And I'm just hoping that this fight is just better. I hope it. I think it's gonna. The fireworks are gonna be on display here. I really think it's gonna be a really good fight.
Yeah, and speaking about Ryan Garcia's trainer, like I was looking it up now that I remember that his last fight was in July against Javier Fortuna at the Crypto.com arena. It's still Staples Center to me. I was there at that fight, and that's where Ryan Garcia really impressed me. Like, oh, this guy has good footwork now. A good combination, because before it was more like waiting for the hook.
That's when you were in Creed 3, right?
Yes, when it was a Creed 3 where I was the extra in the back, where I don't think I ever found myself. But Joe Goosen is a trainer. That was the first time him and Goosen worked together. And I'm like, oh man, like he actually figured it out. Like he put it more together. Like Reynoso, like he's a good trainer, but he really focuses a lot on your defensive technique, your counter game. And that's what makes Canelo good. But Canelo was such a sharp combination thrower that he just had to kind of get that the counters in and more defensive kind of, mindset there. And also he has a good chin, Canelo does. But Ryan Garcia, I think for him, like it takes a lot of discipline and patience to be a counter puncher and kind of be more, methodical in the ring. And for him, he's a speedster. He has that fast hand, so he doesn't want to wait that long. And I think with Joe, he went there and he unlocked that a little more, but also he took away a little bit from Reynoso and have that combination, the counter game, because if you could, wait and time it perfectly for that hook, like that's a deadly weapon. And I think, when Tank mentioned, like, man, he has that. Like, you're supposed to be like rivals. You don't want to give the guy credit. It's deadly, but I think the more opportunities it take, the more chance you get caught. You could get caught by Tank Davis, and I think Tank Davis' power might be. It's tough to kind of like in the category for power who has more. I
Yeah.
want to say Tank a little more because he has different ways of throwing it, and with Ryan Garcia, it has to be the perfect time. So I think I'll lean more on Tank Davis for the power.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And the thing is, and you know, it's funny. I kind of like when I think of Eddie Reynoso and the way he was as a trainer, I always go back to Creed. Remember when Adonis first gets to Mickey's gym and the guy's training with his son, and he's like, "Oh, just go over there and box, and if I can come by,
Yeah,
I'll give you some tips and pointers." Because at one point, Eddie Reynoso had Andy Ruiz,
yeah.
he had Ryan Garcia, and he had Canelo Alvarez, and everybody's like, "Wow, okay, like he's starting to build a good gym." All of a sudden, oh hey, Ryan Garcia's left, and you're like, "Oh, okay, well at least he has Andy Ruiz," and oh wait, Andy Ruiz is left too, and you're like, "Wow!" And then from both of them, and this isn't us, from both of them, we both heard it, Gilbert. They said we just felt like we needed to separate. There wasn't enough time given to, and you're like, okay, like, yeah, exactly. Like,
it's funny because like Eddie Reynoso is a Mexican trainer, and
yeah,
he started seeing people saw like what he did with Canelo, but like Mexicans are not built that way to be patient counter punchers. They
yeah,
want to
no.
come at you and be like Pitbull Cruz and just like put their head down and just start, throw what you got at me, man. Because it's all about orgullo, right? Like, you got to be
And
proud in
Andy's
the
a
ring.
big guy, so he's like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm a
be
heavyweight.
proud.
I want to
I don't want
counter.
to
Like,
do it.
I want to, yeah, exactly.
The punches he took against Anthony Joshua, like he
Yeah.
likes to fight. So you don't have that discipline, then I don't blame you for leaving. That's why Canelo, I respect the discipline he has there. But that's not a knock on Reynoso. It's just a different type of
No,
craft. So
yeah,
you
I
got to work
agree.
at it. But yeah, he had somebody, and also too, like maybe that's also part of it, Fernando. Where like Ryan Garcia felt like, dude, I'm like one of the biggest stars in boxing. Why aren't you giving me enough time? And when he has such a big stable, like that probably went into it too. But yeah, we're spending a lot of time on and who Ryan Garcia could be because like it's a little bit of unknown, and he's really going from Javier Fortuna to Tank Davis, and at least Davis, unexpectedly got Pitbull Cruz, not knowing he's going to be that good. Like that's like that. Like, say you do like a Tank Davis order, and then Ryan
Yeah.
Garcia, Pitbull Cruz is right here, not that far off. So at least he's been tested that way.
Yeah, I know. And Gilbert, like I told you, I'm excited for this fight. So let's just get into it, Gilbert. Who you got this weekend?
Yeah, again, like we spent a lot of time, discussing how improved Ryan Garcia is, and I honestly feel like it's gonna be a tough fight, and I really want to go Ryan Garcia, but I'm gonna go back and just be like, you know what? Don't overthink it. You've seen the experience of Tank Davis. Yeah, he's a smaller dude, but he has dynamite in that hand, and he knows how to throw it in different ways. So, experience, versatile. Maybe kind of being smaller might help him out because Ryan Garcia might not be used to that. So, uh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a close fight. I say somebody gets rocked or even dropped, and I won't say it will be unanimous. I will say Tank Davis by split decision at T-Mobile Arena come Saturday night.
Gilbert, there's two reasons why I am gonna go the opposite way. One, I ride with my compas, and Ryan Garcia jumped on the show, and he was awesome the last time we had him. Hopefully, we can have him again in the future. But the reason is too, man, lately I've been seeing way too many underdogs winning some of these fights. I mean, you've seen, I mean, obviously Pereira and beat Adesanya back in, I think it was December or whatever. But like, there's been a lot of like underdog fighters this year winning. So you know what? I'm gonna go with another underdog. I say Ryan Garcia wins and he established himself, because I think everybody thinks that Tank Davis right now is 1A or 1, and then Ryan Garcia is either 1B or 2. So I think Ryan Garcia establishes himself. But Gilbert, I'm telling you, this is going to be the start of a brand new trilogy, or even more, that is going to be beautiful. I think both of these guys are so talented, and I think they're really going to do some great work coming up pretty soon.
No, I am ready, Fernando. I gotta find like a barbecue or a carne asada to get to because this is one of the best fights you could see in a long time.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree with you. Folks, everything Compas on the Beat, you guys have seen it. Compas on the Beat merch.com. We got some new merch dropping. Make sure you guys check that out. We still do have the hats, the sweatshirts, and the shirts. And obviously, you guys, and the hoodie, but obviously, you guys want the stickers. Yeah, the stickers are still there, folks. Don't forget to check out compasonthebeat.com, regular Compas on the Beat. Well, you get our videos and everything else on there. And don't forget to check out everything else. Regular Compas on the Beat. Gilbert and I discuss. You guys have heard the rumors. Trey Lance, what's going on there? We'll see about that. And don't forget to check out. Also, we will be dropping previews for every single division leading up until the draft. We got some new divisions dropping. So we did all 8 divisions. Make sure you guys check that out. But like I said, regular the Compas on the beat. We talked about why is everybody hating on Bad Bunny? Yeah, we got into some Bad Bunny. We know it's football, but we got into some Bad Bunny. We got into some other Jalen Hurts, his new contract. How does that affect Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow? Again, don't forget to check out What's Up Bolts. Dan and Dago and I did an episode on Eric Kendricks and why he decided to choose the Chargers. House of Horns will be doing their offseason phase 1 conditioning episode as well. And don't forget to check out Compas FC, where we are breaking down all things Champions League. We appreciate you guys so much for checking out yet another episode of Combat Compas. Folks, Combat Compas, don't forget to check out everything else from WrestleMania. Great stuff that we did. We appreciate you guys so much. But for the time being, Gilbert, let's get ready and get that carne asada going, because this weekend is fight weekend.
There you go. So much going on the Compas on the Beat network, and I'm glad you listed it all there. And check it out again, Compas on the Beat merch.com for the shirt and a nice graphic tee that we have going on. So, but on that note, nos vamos, pues, vámonos.